Hey, what's up everybody? It's Rex here with Carpentry Plus. Today we're going to talk a little bit about paint and mainly our setup and the products that we like to use. So we have a project in paint now and figured it'd be a good time to provide an updated video on some of what we're using. So we'll start here at our sprayer. This is a Graco Magnum X5. These sprayers are pretty affordable. I think they're about 300 bucks. Haven't bought one for a minute, but I used to be able to get them for a little bit less than that if you find them on sale. But they're a nice little pump. They're affordable. I know how I am with maintaining things, and the last thing I'm going to do is go out and buy a $2,000 sprayer and then not take care of it and regret it. So good affordable pump, and it gets the job done. So as far as the gun, I just use the gun that comes with it. I've never bought a spray gun. I've always just used the guns that come with the sprayer. So just your basic spray gun. And then on the tip that we use, I'm using an FFLP fine finish low pressure tip. I use a 310 for paint and about a 308 for spray and clear. All right, so when it comes to our products here, everything I use is water-based. I don't like to mess with oil-based. I don't like to have to clean the oil-based products out of the sprayer. I don't like to spray solvent-based. It's just too much odor. Just the side effects. The cons far outweigh the pros when it comes to solvent-based products. And even the oil-based products. We will use a little bit of oil-based polyurethane here and there, but not spraying it through pumps and having to clean that out. So everything I've got here that I'll show you today is water-based. So we'll start here with our clear coat that we use. It's the Sherwood Chem Aqua Plus. Similar to polyacrylic, if you're familiar with that, or Varathane's got a water-based poly as well, and they're both, to me, pretty much the same thing. And this is very similar. Seems to be a little thinner, so you can get a lighter coat and does better on vertical surfaces. Still got to be careful not to over apply on those vertical surfaces, but I've been pretty happy with it. The few projects that I've used it on. This is my go-to primer for just about everything, especially cabinetry. It does real well painting existing cabinets and painting raw wood, I think. So this is the Zinsser Bullseye 123. It's water-based again. So, you know, it touts itself as being able to spray glossy surfaces without having to sand them. So when we're painting an existing kitchen, we've got a couple main things that we have an issue with. One is that glossy surface, which we're not gonna just spray right over it. The second thing is making sure those kitchen cabinets are clean and not gonna stain through. So even when you clean them, a lot of primers will still let some of that staining come through. This primer does a real good job of blocking that staining, and it also does a real good job of adhering. So we'll scuff sand our cabinets, use this primer, and it'll adhere real well. It also does well with our painting our paint grade cabinetry, which is primarily maple and poplar. And with maple and poplar, you shouldn't have any issues with tannin bleed coming through your primer. And we don't have any issues with that with this primer. I've tried some other primers that are probably have other good qualities, but they do not have very good stain blocking qualities. So that's why I've been using this particular primer for years. This bucket's gray because we've got a dark set of cabinetry in the paint room. So one thing I don't like about this primer, the one downside that it has that I can tell, is it's not the best sanding primer. So some primers will sand to this nice powdery consistency. This primer, not so much. It's a little gummy. Instead of sanding and getting a powder, you're getting some crumbs. But I think for me, the other qualities that it has, the stain blocking and the adhesion, outweigh that. We're still able to get our products sanded and get a good finished result. So moving on to top coat. I think in our last video on paint, I was primarily using this Dutch Boy cabinet and trim paint. I haven't used this for a while, and but I still believe it was a good paint. It still is a good paint and worth mentioning. One thing I liked about it is it seemed to it had a good faster dry time than the emerald urethane. So what I primarily use for our cabinetry when it comes to paint is this emerald urethane paint by Sherwin-Williams. I've been using it for years. I actually started out using their Pro Classic, not knowing any better, but it's more of a trim paint, and it's not available in darker colors. So when with this, the current trend nowadays is a lot of dark cabinetry. So that seems to be what we do a lot of, and so we've been using this emerald urethane. I really like it. I feel like it's a good quality paint. The one downside is its dry time. However, I think they've done some reformulating because it seems to be faster than it used to be. However, it's a good quality paint that we've been using for years. So a newer paint that I have used for just a couple projects is this Gallery series by Sherwin-Williams, and it's more of a cabinet paint. It's got super fast dry time and could really help speed the paint process along when you're able to do multiple coats in a day. I haven't used it enough. One thing I do know is that it's thinner, so your prep work on your cabinetry has really got to be on point. Your sanding, everything's got to be that much better with this product because it is thinner, but it is a nice paint. And but I don't have that much experience, so even though I've used it before for this current project, I decided to go with the emerald urethane just because I'm more familiar with it and that's what I'm more comfortable with. But I will be using this more in the future and getting more familiar with it. And all right, so I think that's about everything I wanted to cover. Not really trying to endorse these products, just I get asked a lot what I'm using, what kind of primer we're using, what kind of paint we're using, and even what kind of sprayer we're using. So just wanted to share our products that we use, and again, hopefully you find this useful. Appreciate you watching, and be sure to hit that subscribe button. Thanks.